Yeah, we'll just go ahead and get
What's our
started. So,
T minus here? How far are we? 7
let's see.
minutes.
We got 7 minutes.
Okay.
And I mean, we're going live right now. So,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah,
don't-
but we, I don't want to jump the gun on people that were waiting for something.
it's all good. So, all right. Hey everyone, Spidey Librarian here, and I've got a surprise guest here tonight. This is my friend Xander.
Hey,
He's a friend of mine from, I don't know, several years ago, and it's been a few years since we've seen each other. He was just in town tonight, and we were talking and having dinner together, and I was like, you want to come and kind of commentate while I do this IMDB, like, because we're doing the final 50 movies tonight, and he was excited to do it. And
yeah, it sounds like a fun topic. I mean,
yeah, no,
I was going through the first several of these. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that one. I've seen that one. But as you pointed out, as you get to the 100th or so, suddenly you go, what is this title?
Yeah,
I've done 12 Angry Men.
There was
what is Wild Tales?
There was like 40 of them,
right?
Like last night that I hadn't seen. I'm like, Jesus, am I going to only have seen like 3 of this one? But, I mean, from what I can see, it looks like we're off to a pretty strong start.
Well, the 200 seem to be stuff that I've seen, if only because I've seen them relatively recently. Though, I mean, have you seen? Are we running?
I mean, we're already live.
Have you seen Mary and Max? I don't even know what that's about.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's like that sounds like a B movie horror from the 80s, and somehow it's like this Paranormal Activity looking thing from 2009.
Yeah. So I mean, we've still got I know I said that originally we would start at 8:00. That was before like Xander messaged me right as I was getting off work. I'm like, I really want to hang out with them. So I pushed it back to 8:30 tonight, but we're good to go. So I figure we'll just give it a few minutes, let people trickle in. But so far, let's see. So looks like Alan and Sith Apple are both here tonight. So good to see you guys. I hope all is well.
I like the hand gesture. I haven't seen that about a lot of streamers. That's fun.
Yeah, it's my thing. It's funny. I don't remember who suggested this, but like when I started streaming, I started streaming like probably 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, and like I didn't start seriously until a couple of years ago. But someone recommended, because I was wearing the gloves, and they're like, you should just do like a thwip at the beginning and the end of your. That's a really good idea. I don't think anyone does that. So, and I don't remember who it was that suggested it. But I don't know if they're around anymore. But I've done it, and it seems to work. Like I do that on my podcast.
Yeah, it's different.
So yeah. So I and then Alan Copeland just threw out the thwip. I'm gonna go ahead and put him up here. So. Alan, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you, but I see that you've currently got a Chicago Cubs profile picture. Have I ever told you that like I actually grew up just outside of Chicago, like up in Northwest Indiana?
I don't think even I knew that.
Yeah, I'm a big Cubs fan. I don't really pay attention to baseball anymore, but if they're in the playoffs of the World Series, I'm probably at least going to watch a game.
Nice.
So
when are the Cubs in the World Series? But
2016.
They
right?
actually,
yeah.
It's not the Angels winning the pennant. I'm aware this joke doesn't quite
right.
work.
Yeah. But anyways, but Xander, who is just kind of in from Austin.
Austin, yeah.
Just kind of has swung in to
very appropriate,
to turn a Spidey phrase, and essentially was like, hey, let's hang out. And I was like, yes, let's do that. So I see that Leia Rose is in the chat. Good to see you. So welcome. And let's see, it's 8:27. You know what? Screw it. Let's just go ahead and get started.
Yeah, we start talking about these different items.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get too far into this. I mean, I'm going to sit here and talk about Ford versus Ferrari for a bit, which I caught on an airplane. Honestly, it was very solid, and great to see Christian Bale actually doing solid acting as opposed to just being on Batman.
Yeah,
which was his thing for so long.
So we're on numbers 201 to 250 of the Internet Movie Database's top 250 movies. And as you guys have seen, like started off really strong, like in the top 10, I'd seen like 90% of them. And then the further down we go, like the bigger the percentage of The ones I haven't seen, I think it's down to like 60% now.
And I wonder if some of that's critic bias too.
It could be.
Or, who's pushing this list? Is this, the Leonard Maltins and Roger Eberts of the world who are making this list specifically?
Oh, not this one. No.
Okay, this is
this one. This
crowd
one is
focused, more audience, but that's good. That's important.
Yeah.
Because not always watching The English Patient, which is one of probably my least favorite Best Picture winner ever, by the way, if you've ever seen that. There's a great Seinfeld episode, if you haven't seen, where they go watch The English Patient, and Elaine just cannot stand it. It's hilarious. It's a movie that has its moments, but it's not a great movie overall. And It's very long and dragging and all those good things.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with number 201 here. We've got Monsters, Inc. Now, I have seen this.
Of course.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. But this is a movie that I think I watched with my little sisters over and over and over again. So definitely we don't have to put that one on the list. But yeah, that's a fun movie. I've actually been I guess a little bit surprised at how many G-rated movies are on this list. I don't know.
Fair point. Yeah, I would have expected offhand PG. Even no, that begs the question. Also, how many of these are older, where G was quote general audiences, but PG was what we usually think of as PG-13?
Right.
So, but I mean, a lot of these do seem to be newer, post 80s, and seem to be, yes, surprisingly G. I think also I think a lot of us have good nostalgia for things like Monsters, Inc. in our childhood that we were like. And speaking of nostalgia and childhood, I mean, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is something I watched in high school.
Yeah.
And was very much pushed as kind of a political movie.
Yeah.
And something that you watch as a familiarity with government and so forth. And I think okay for that.
Yeah.
It's very passionate.
I think this is also this is a movie I also watched in high school. So and yeah, like for exactly that reason, civics and stuff like that. So
it does better than most things do, I mean, especially considering that there's all sorts of questionable political movies, though of course Wag the Dog is one of my favorite political movies, where it does talk about how the political system kind of really works, which is complex and difficult.
Don't know if I've seen
You should see that.
I don't know if
they create a fake war in order to take away from the president's affair news. Which is very, very fun.
So that's going to be the first one I throw in the chat.
It's going to be like 96 or so. I doubt it's on this 200, but it's fun.
Okay, all right. Number 203, Jaws. Now, okay, I need to talk about Jaws. I'm pretty sure that on a technical level, I've probably seen Jaws, but if I have, it's been so long, and I would have been so young that I don't think I remember it. And so like there are scenes that I remember from it.
Well, that's it. So many of these scenes have been clipped, YouTube, Divined, etc., ad nauseum. Where I mean, this beach scene here, where we're seeing exactly that, where he talks about closing the beaches, or where you're gonna need a bigger boat, for example.
Right. Yeah.
That has been run ad nauseum, where you're familiar with it because it's kind of mimetic mutation / cultural osmosis.
Yes. So. I honestly think if I have seen this, I probably need to see it again. So I'm going to go ahead.
I think it's really worth seeing the first one. I don't know if you know, there's actually 4 Jaws movies, I think, if I recall correctly.
You've seen Back to the Future, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, you remember how like when he goes into 2015 and it's like Jaws 19 or something?
Yes, exactly. Granted, I would probably watch Jaws 19 if it was like VR 3D with like splashes and kind of a first 3 rows getting splashed by blood. I would probably show up for that.
Yeah.
But that said, yeah, I mean, we've done several Jaws movies and they've become each kind of more meh.
All right, guys, I'm going to let Trouble out. She is mewling at me, and I think she wants out. So give me just a second here. This is common. Her name. She totally.
She's doing
the Little Orange Demon so much, but she's
there's like 4 Jawses. I think the third one's got Michael Caine in it and was a surprisingly boring performance from Michael Caine, if I recall correctly, which is weird because, I mean, Michael Caine's fantastic.
Maybe he just didn't want to be there.
I think he didn't. I think he just kind of phoned it, and rightfully so. I mean, just he had been doing a lot that year, if I recall correctly. And just also, it was a poor production as well. There was a lot of shoot on site, and that was difficult too. They talk about this with Waterworld as well. Waterworld would have been a much better movie had they done less shoot on site, more tank stuff, or more just there was dry land because we said there was, not the insanity that there was. Of course, if you had spent the $1 million on something besides Kevin Costner's digitally altered hair, you probably would have also gotten a better movie.
All right, number 204, How to Train Your Dragon. Xander, have you seen this one?
I've seen this one. I've also seen the sequel, which is also quite good. I really like these. Toothless is really cute.
Yeah.
This does a very nice coming of age story. Really solid hit for this should be DreamWorks, if I recall correctly.
You think? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, just a really well done in 2010, especially when Disney was kind of struggling with their animation prior to Frozen.
I mean, like, I was so surprised at just how into that movie I got. I think at that time, I was kind of at a point where I was like, I don't know if I really want to watch this. It looks like it's aimed at
Sure,
kids.
yeah, it does. I mean, it
And-
looks
and-
very
but-
childish. Oh, okay. No, I didn't see that they had another one.
Oh my
After
God.
the M. Night Shyamalan debacle, I'm very hesitant, but I'm glad it looks good.
Dude, I actually like I recorded that. I still need to put that video up.
Okay.
But like, I actually like you could see a tear falling down my eye. It had that effect on me. So
And it's too bad we don't have a react video of that.
I mean, technically I do. I just haven't put it up.
Oh,
yet,
okay. Well,
so.
fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
glad you caught it on film, too. That's the hardest thing, right?
Number 2.
What is Mary and Max? I pointed out this and went, what the hell is this?
What? Okay, it's animated.
And on demand only? I mean, there was no theatrical release. It was
tale of
Sundance.
friendship between two unlikely pen pals.
And like claymation from like Wallace and Gromit style, yeah?
Right.
A little later, like more like
Mary-
Paranorman, maybe.
Lonely 8-year-old girl living in the suburbs of Melbourne, and Max, a 44-year-old severely obese man living in New York.
I mean, I hate to jump the gun and push stereotypes. That sounds like a true crime story normally.
Yeah.
I hope it's better than that.
I mean, it's in the top list, so
I can only
imagine-
assume it's good.
Yeah.
The claymation looks beautiful.
Okay, Tony Collette and Seymour, Philip
Right
Seymour.
before he died, no less, I think.
Yeah.
Just or shortly before, a few years. Anyway,
Okay,
I don't know Adam Elliott.
I want to do a quick genre check here. There it is. Animation, comedy,
Drama.
and
I mean, basically what the
Okay.
trailer expected.
Okay.
So,
I
and
mean, this
possibly less
one-
comedy than I would expect. Usually a lot of these claymation things like Wallace and Gromit are very comedy heavy, slapstick heavy.
So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there, Mary.
Yeah,
and
that would be
Max.
interesting to see. I mean, it's so high up yet. I haven't heard any of it. And
Well, I mean, again, there's a lot of
yeah, but claymation usually you get those like any really actually good claymation gets really pushed to the top.
well, some of them are also so a lot of them are foreign language films too.
Okay, I
and-
hadn't considered that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that like once I see that, like there's one foreign language film on this list that I had seen. It was called The Lives of Others, but
Okay.
the original title's in German, and I'm not going to try to
Sure. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Don't
but
don't buy that yet.
but wow, like I remember seeing that when I was working like at the River Oaks Theater. Like I was working there when that movie came out, and so
Okay,
I actually
yeah.
got to see it. And wow, was it good? Like it was like I really enjoyed this movie.
It's a stupid question. This
Yeah.
would have been with subtitles, or they dub it heavily.
Oh, it was subtitled.
Okay. Yeah.
It was subtitled. All right, number 206 is called Ford versus Ferrari.
I liked this. I caught this on a plane just because I didn't have anything else to do, and actually it went really well. It's Matt Damon and Christian Bale, and surprisingly talks about the story of American engineering in the racing circuit against Ferrari engineering, which was complex because Carroll Shelby was an absolute crazy man, and at the same time Ferrari was just much better at this in general, and so they had to do some questionable things to get there. It's got some good drama. I'm not sure it's got the most like heartfelt point, but it's an interesting movie and does really well with. If you like car race movies, this is good.
I mean, I'm not much
Days of Thunder is the other one that I always like to point out. That's an older Tom Cruise movie.
right.
Car races. That's very fun.
I'm not much of a cars like guy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I don't really need to be to understand that this person is trying to run a business. This person.
Oh, this is a much this is a very personal
yeah.
story. It just happens to be done with cars rather than say fisticuffs or something.
Okay.
If this was Birdman, he'd be fighting in the boxing ring, but they happen to be racing cars.
Okay. All right, number 207, The Seventh Seal from 1957. I
think I've seen the remake of this in the 70s, if I recall correctly, if that happened. But maybe that's a different one. Maybe I'm thinking The Omen. I have.
Okay.
So That's right. This is the one with the knight playing chess.
I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis here. A knight returning to Sweden after the Crusades seeks answers about life, death, and the existence of God as he plays chess against the Grim Reaper.
So there's an Animaniacs parody of this, along with also Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey does this as well.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Vaguely remember that they were playing like chess and then Battleship and other things that because Bill and Ted can't really play chess, but they can play other things. So that's where that's from. Yeah.
Okay, so the Seventh Seal is definitely one of those that's gonna go.
It's interesting. Again, I do feel like it's the type of movie that you catch clips of rather than see the whole thing.
Right. Okay, number 208 is called Room. I
have no idea. This is not The Room, so
yeah, I'm not familiar with this one. Is that Brie Larson?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, it is.
Is it?
Oh yeah, that's her. Little boy is held captive in a room.
I guess I'm surprised. I didn't realize she did
his mother's
heavy drama roles.
Birth. Oh my god! So he has never known the world outside. This actually sounds like a young adult novel that I read a few years ago. I think it's called Everything by Nicola Yoon.
Okay.
And they made a movie of that eventually too. But wow, like that is some serious that's raising questions of
that's some heavy subject matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So but I haven't seen this. And I mean, we just the Marvels just hit movie theaters recently, and I know that people that have their issues with Brie Larson, but you know what? I'm gonna just say it. Good on her for being in a movie that has at least made this list.
Well, that's it. Just she's in something heavy drama, which I'm surprised at. Usually she's been doing lighter comedy or the Marvel movies or other things. I recall seeing her in Community, and I think that's not necessarily her strength either.
Oh yeah, no, she is not the greatest. She doesn't have the best comic timing.
That's okay. Not everybody's gonna do that.
Okay, The Big Lebowski. So I don't know if I've seen this.
This is my Halloween costume.
I've seen
this.
I know I've seen
this
clips
is a fantastic movie.
I know
Jeff
I've
Bridges is basically a slacker who winds up with a briefcase that he's supposed to deliver, and then unfortunately the briefcase gets lost in transit, and then he gets blamed for it, and suddenly also the other side of it is he's mistaken for this other Lebowski guy who he should have run this, and of course there's a array of weird architecture, great quotations. That rug really pulled the room together, and there's the clips of him looking at the milk while he's in his bathrobe. There's a lot of great stuff here.
Yeah, no,
I really should see it. Fantastic movie. If Apple says Room is a good movie, that's good to hear. Yeah. Absolutely had no idea what it was about. Yes, this seems like the type of thing. What was it, Phantom Thread? I think it's called, with Daniel Day-Lewis. I saw in theaters because that was the year I had Movie Pass, back when Movie Pass was a thing. Which, speaking of which, it is back if you want to get one movie a day.
Oh yeah,
and it is I think $20 a month, so it does exist. I'm just not into movies as much as I was back in 2018 when that was just all I was doing. It's I got Movie Pass, and that was my every week I'd go to see a movie. And so Phantom Thread was one of them. And I'm like, this is an acquired taste. It's an okay movie. It's got some abuse things to it that make it an acquired taste. And Room sounded exactly like that.
Number 210 is Ratatouille. Okay, Xander, I am just going to make you guess here. Do you think I've seen this movie?
I'm pretty sure you've seen this.
Do you think I've seen this movie?
Several times, probably, just considering how you talked about Monsters, Inc. And with if you have younger siblings, these were some of the movies that came out at the time and were solid. I mean, this was not a bad movie. It's weird that Ratatouille seems to have disappeared basically from cultural consciousness. There are some references to it, but in general, I think that's it. And some of it is also just, it's a subject that's funny. I mean, rats in a kitchen, that's not always easy to stomach compared to monsters in your closet you can laugh at. Rats in the kitchen, you're like, that's kind of a problem.
I have not seen it.
What?
I've never seen
hell, dude.
I've never seen Ratatouille.
Have you seen Flushed Away instead? Because that also came out at the same time, and that was also about rats, and that was weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people have done that. And also, just random aside to Flushed Away, which I never get to talk about.
It's
how the hell did you miss out seeing Ratatouille?
There are several people have had reactions to some of the things that I haven't seen. So, do you want to know what the biggest shock so far has been?
Sure.
All right. Is Alan Copeland still on here? Because if he's still on here, I'm going to let him type in what the movie was that I hadn't seen
Sounds good.
because he was indignant. He's like, it's been 30 years. So, Alan, are you still here? Because if you are, I want you to type into the chat the movie that shocked you, that
Is it
seemed to
Jurassic
shock you
Park?
the most.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, you said 30 years, and I'm like, what movie? It was 93. It was damn good, Xander. Jurassic Park was
Yes,
good.
it was Jurassic
Okay.
Park.
He's
Yeah,
welcome to type it in. I hate to steal his thunder.
it's
Sorry.
all
about
right.
that.
It's all right. He might be.
I'm surprised I guessed it too.
He might be. He might be.
Right. It's easy to get busy.
All right. So number
Tokyo Story. I have never even heard of. Is this Kurosawa?
Is it? No,
I
it's
doubt it. It doesn't sound like any of the ones. He does.
films
Well,
on his
I
list.
can't say he's just such a good director. Again, I can't say I'm terribly surprised. He's such an amazing director.
An old couple visit their children and grandchildren in the city, but receive little
That's the
attention.
shortest summary I've seen in any of these.
Interesting. Okay, what? I'm guessing this is family and drama.
I can only assume, yeah, and just like kind of a slice of life thing
Just
going on.
drama. Okay. All right.
And
Yeah. No.
PG?
Definitely.
If there's a rating
an
at all,
old-
it's the 50s. I mean, not
Yeah.
rated.
This isn't rated.
Yeah.
When did they start ratings? Was it like the mid 80s?
To be fair, if I recall correctly, they actually the ratings heavily changed in the 80s. The 50s should be when we start American ratings. This is a Japanese film.
Oh, okay.
So you're just kind of out of luck. So we would have had, because I recall Airplane being PG, and Airplane has some nudity.
Okay.
So it's a funny thing, but just also what constitutes certain things. Raiders of the Lost Ark, if I recall correctly, is the first PG-13 movie.
All right. Okay. All right. Rocky.
And then this is, of course, a classic. This is the movie that Sylvester Stallone sold his dog to make. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
No.
He bought him back
Good.
for $15,000, no less. He sold his dog for like $50 and bought him back anyway.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad he
Good
got
for
his
him.
dog back.
Yeah.
I have seen Rocky. I saw it in one of my film classes in college, and it was like you watched. I think we watched Rocky first, and then we watched Raging Bull.
Okay.
And it was just like, okay, two movies about ostensibly a similar topic.
Well, and just, I mean, that's how these things go.
Yeah.
I mean, we get similar movies, or they play off each other, or they just literally are, asylum films where they're just trying to burn off each other, and just, snakes on a train versus snakes on a plane. Yeah, but we have these different things that are the same type of thing as well.
Okay.
So I haven't seen Hotel Rwanda.
Hotel
Don
Rwanda.
Cheadle's,
I have no
of course,
clue.
War Machine from Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Paul Rusesabagina, a hotel manager, houses over 1,000 Tutsi refugees during their struggle against the
There was a pretty big
militia.
genocide in Rwanda, and I want to say the 80s, but again, I'm not good at this. Please don't cancel me for not knowing when the Rwanda genocide is. But yes, there was a big thing of this, and that's what this is supposed to be about, among other things, is them fighting back and dealing with it. It's quite a big thing.
All right. Well, yeah, this looks like it's a tough topic. So
This was very early for Don Cheadle, which is the point they're making in the trailer. I don't recall Don Cheadle in the 90s at all.
well, this is from 2004. It looks
Well, that helps too.
Yeah. And
Still, I mean, this would
I'm so glad they list the release year with these movies.
it's very helpful. Well, in some cases, you have movies that actually come out, two movies in the same release year. And so and then of course there's many movies that come out with the same name at different release years.
Yes. All right, number 20 or 250.
I assume you've seen Logan.
I have seen Logan.
Someone was talking about doing a new, basically not Logan, but Spider-Man done with Tobey Maguire as a older Spider-Man doing the same thing as Logan. But yeah, this was fantastic. Again, honestly, caught a lot of playing because that's when I had time, but still really good. Great acting by Jackman, good story, very solid, and also just well done we didn't have to throw a huge budget at it. We just made a very interesting film.
And the interesting thing is that Logan was intended to be both Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart's goodbye to the roles that they played in those movies.
Sure.
And so I find it hilarious that, of course, Disney Marvel comes along and they're like, okay, we have money.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Stewart is like, fine, I'll get in this.
Patrick Stewart
cartoon
will
yellow
do quite a bit.
wheelchair,
I mean, he's
yeah.
on American Dad and has been forever. So
Yeah.
we know him. It's surprising that Hugh Jackman's back for Deadpool 3. I was like,
I honestly think that's because of Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'm not terribly surprised that helps, but I'm sure there is a good deal of money. And okay, that's fine.
I bet.
What
Okay,
is Spotlight?
215 spot. I don't know. Okay. The true story of how the Boston Globe uncovered the massive scandal of child molestation and cover up within the local Catholic archdiocese, shaking the entire Catholic Church.
Again, I vaguely remember the story of this. I don't recall this movie at all.
Dude, Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams. Was that Stanley Tucci that he was talking to?
Very possibly, yeah.
Is that Liev Schreiber? I mean,
you're better at this than I am.
I
recognize a few actors. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I got him.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, and Stanley Tucci, very well.
Wow. Okay.
Very
yeah. Looks. I mean, again, that is like because whenever I think of the Catholic Church, I always think of the child molestation scandal.
It is a big thing, and I have not handled it well.
And I don't. Yeah, I don't ever remember like the genesis of that flashpoint or anything. So
yeah, that's it. It's just apparently that's
this is apparently that chronicle. So that's fascinating. So okay, so Spotlight is definitely going up on
not my favorite subject matter, but yeah, certainly important and interesting.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. All right, Spotlight. Oh, I have it typed Spootlight. I'm not putting that in the chat. All right, okay. So number 216, Platoon. Have you seen Platoon?
I've seen Platoon. So this is what's his name? Charlie Sheen's big movie.
Yes.
So the big scene where he's like dying and his teammates are dying all around him. Oh, this is a big Vietnam movie.
That's I think that's Willem Dafoe, actually.
Is it him or
Willem Dafoe is the sergeant that gets shot by Tom Berenger in this one. That's a young Willem Dafoe previously.
Well, they should have Sheen in it, right?
Oh yeah, Sheen is in it, and yes, he's the main character. But like Dafoe and Berenger,
there we go. That's Dafoe. Very good. Okay,
Dafoe.
Well done.
So
no, it's been a bit, and but I've seen this. I caught this on cable long ago and far away. Oh, I didn't realize that Keith David. He does all sorts of voice acting for Saints Row and a bunch of other things recently as well. So
Armageddon.
I don't think so. You can check. He's in They Live, which is one of my favorite movies.
Okay. John C. McGinley. I know him.
That's right. I know Dr. Cox.
Yeah, I know him from Scrubs.
Yeah, exactly. So, I didn't realize Dr. Cox was in Platoon. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I've seen Platoon. It's another one of those movies that I haven't seen in forever.
Well, it was on cable forever too. It was one of those movies that does, especially when you cut it right for cable, has the right bits where it works very well for you to have okay, go get your beer. Okay, come back for the interesting thing. I have no idea what this is.
The Passion of Joan of Arc. In 1431, Jeanne d'Arc is placed on trial on charges of heresy. The ecclesiastical jurists attempt to force Jeanne to recount her claims of holy visions. So it's Joan of Arc.
I'm sure this was also part of the whole like 10 Commandments and other things that we were seeing. Lots of historical films at that time.
1928.
Yeah. Well, so we saw a number of things that were historical films in the 20s, along with other things, and I think that's just because there was a push for this. But that's very early, especially for 200. I mean, I'm surprised it's held out. I mean, this would be like seeing Birth of a Nation on this list.
Haven't seen Birth of a Nation, but
I'm not sure you should. It's very KKK oriented.
Okay,
that's why I mentioned it. It's controversial. It's not actually good.
There is a movie on this list. The oldest one that I've seen, I think, is called The Kid. It's from the year 1921.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's over 100.
Like a Western?
God, I don't remember. Okay, we'll find it. We'll find it. Okay, 218. Okay, The Terminator.
So this is the original one.
Yeah. I don't know. You think I've seen this?
I mean, offhand, actually, I don't know. A lot of people haven't seen the first Terminator.
I've seen it.
Okay, good.
I've seen it. It's funny because Terminator 2 is much higher up on this list.
Well, and rightfully so. I think it's a better movie.
It is.
I mean, of course, not only is Schwarzenegger better in Terminator 2, but they also was it Linda Hamilton, I recall correctly, is the female lead.
Yes.
Yeah, she's fantastic in she does a very big change too, where she's very scared of Schwarzenegger because of the fact that he was hunting her in the last damn movie.
Right.
So it's a very interesting follow up to what it was, and she does a really good job of it.
Yes.
Sadly, they've ground that franchise into the ground, which is really too bad. I
It's
really think they could have done a good job of either rebooting it nicely with good actors that were not big, rather than doing Genesis, where it's like, these people are too big for their own boots. We're not going to believe they're any of these people in any of these roles.
Yeah. All right.
Or just dragging other people back. What is Jai Bim?
Jai Bim,
which is very new too.
Yeah,
Bollywood item?
is. When a tribal man is arrested for a case of alleged theft, his wife turns to a human rights lawyer to help bring justice. And it might be a Bollywood film. I
It
don't
looks
know.
like it very well might be. You're just, mayhaps it is separate, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. And again, I'm not
I
familiar
can't
with.
imagine I know any of these people. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're very famous for others, but for me, I have no idea.
crime, drama, and mystery. Which I mean,
This is exactly why you do these things too, is it gets you to branch out and be otherwise familiar with some of these items.
yes, absolutely. It's why I'm pretty much taking down just about anything that I think I should see from this list, simply because you never know. All right, 220 Before Sunset. Now, I think wasn't there another one on this list called, I think it was like After Sunset or Before Sunrise
And I
or something?
assume that's just because sunset's a common thing at a time. Plus, also it's big for movie.
No,
makers,
this
but
movie
is it actually related?
is related to the previous one, and it stars these two actors, and it's like it's like I think they're like 9 years apart. That's
Wow,
according to
okay.
what someone one of my viewers told me, and I was
I
like,
mean, that's what it says there too. 9 years after they first meet. I just didn't
yeah,
realize they actually were.
and it's
putting
just
that time in.
interesting. Like I'm kind of interested. Like I'm used to seeing sequels coming out within a couple years of the last one, and this one they're spacing it out like almost a decade. And there's like 3 of these where they've done this
Wow.
with these 2 actors.
And is that deliberate, or did they just have? Oh, this is the time they chose because it's what they got them back.
I don't know, but like I'm kind of just entranced by this. I'm just like, wow.
So this is Richard Linklater, who did A Scanner Darkly, one of my favorite films,
Uh-huh.
which is a very interesting. It's all rotoscoped,
Okay.
and then done with like a cell shading thing going on as well.
Uh-huh.
That'd be interesting to see some of his other work.
Well, this one is definitely going on the list, and again, like I'll probably want to see, because if there are 3 of these movies, I'll probably want to see
and
all of them.
I'm
So,
impressed that 2 of them even made the top 200. That's
yeah,
quite impressive.
I think Before Sunrise or whatever, I think that one's in the top 100.
I'm sure you can check. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. 221 is called Rush. Is that
Another
a
car racing
Hemsworth?
movie?
Is that a Hemsworth? Is that Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently it
and
is.
Daniel Bruhl. Oh my, and Olivia Wilde. Gee,
I'm surprised I missed this. Yeah.
The merciless 1970s rivalry between Formula One rivals James Hunt and Niki Lauda.
Another car racing movie, but one that I've honestly never heard of. And yes, relatively early Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I mean that's his Point Break days right there. No, I'm not familiar with this one, so we're gonna go ahead and add
It'd be
it.
interesting to see, and with a hard R too, no less. I'm surprised. A lot of these, yes, some of the horror movies and so forth are managed to get up there, but it's interesting to see how many heavily rated movies get.
All right, Sith Apple says that it is based on a true story, and it's also a very good movie.
Sweet.
Excellent. Okay, 222 is called Network. It's from 1976. A television network cynically exploits a deranged former anchor's ravings and revelations about the news media for its own profit, but finds that his message may be difficult to control.
So we just have Joe Rogan as a movie?
Maybe. I don't know. Faye Dunaway, William Holden, and Peter Finch star, and the director is Sidney Lumet. I'm
not familiar with Sidney Lumet.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Familiar with Faye Dunaway and Holden, Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall's in it. Yeah. Okay. All right. And
looks interesting.
Genre check. Just straight up drama. Okay. Interesting. Definitely have not seen. We'll go ahead and add it to the list. So 222 Network. All right. 223 The Exorcist. Okay. All right. Xander, do you think I've seen
I think
this?
you've seen this.
You think
one.
I've
I think
seen
this
this
has
one?
come out on cable enough that you're familiar with it, at the very least from that.
I've definitely seen clips.
Okay.
Um,
They recently also
yeah.
did a remake of it that was not terribly good, or possibly a sequel. I forget, something of that nature.
You know
It was
what?
not great.
Yes, I have seen this. I know I've seen it
Okay.
because there is a scene in this movie that freaked me out. And it had nothing to do with like her being on the bed and being possessed and all
Really?
that. No, the scene that freaks me out is when the mother comes home one night and
Uh-huh.
she's walking through the house. She's like in a dark kitchen, okay? And like you just see these very quick spots of light. They're very small and you can miss them, but it's literally the face of the demon, the
Nice.
Captain
I
Howdy
don't
or
recall
something.
this. I'll have to check it out again.
And
Yeah.
it was one of those things like I'm whenever I watch a horror movie, I'm usually the person that catches like the subtle thing in the background that people can miss. Like in 2017's It,
Mhm.
there's a scene where Ben is in the library. He's a kid
Mhm.
and he's researching the town's history and it's getting all tense and he's seeing all the pictures of the clown and everything. And then there's one scene or one shot where the camera is on him and he's in the foreground and then in the background which is blurred out but you can see the old librarian and she's like staring at him and she's got this like grin and like that's the part of the movie that freaked me out.
Nice.
Like oh my god, like and it's harrowing, but it's also really rewarding to catch that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so the Captain Howdy face that pops up in The Exorcist is from a scene that I don't think I've seen in clips or anything. And it's just the mom walking through the kitchen. The kitchen is like completely black, you
Mhm.
know, and so the images appear so quickly that it's literally a blink and you can miss it kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I've caught them, and I'm just like, okay, wow, that was
Nice.
good. So, Wolf MCOC, good to see you, my friend. Welcome. How are you this evening? This is my buddy Xander, and he is hanging out with me tonight while we go through the final part of the IMDb top 250 movies list. And let's see, we have seen The Exorcist, so we're not going to go ahead and add that. But 224, The Best Years of Our Lives. It's a
The 40s
1946
movie. Yeah.
film.
What is this?
3 World War II veterans. I have found that World War II movies, there are so many of them on this
I can't say I'm
list.
terribly
You know,
surprised simply because that was left a lot of subject matter to be run with.
yeah.
And we did a lot of World War II movies.
3 World War II veterans, 2 of them traumatized or disabled, return home to the American Midwest to discover that they and their families have been irreparably damaged. This sounds like Vietnam War movies before they
But World War
existed.
II, yeah.
Yeah.
And surprisingly good. I mean, just we didn't see as much of this in World War II. Also, people usually were coming back to a more normalized, less changing life, changing slower. And we also were recruiting from a wider variety of people rather than, you know, where we were going from Vietnam. So that sounds interesting.
No, it does, and I mean, it sounds depressing, but you know,
Yeah,
some of the good subject matter is
sure.
depressing. You know. All right, 225. Stand by Me. Have you seen this?
I've seen Stand By Me. This
All
is, of
right.
course,
Do you think I've seen it?
I'm pretty sure you've probably seen this.
Yes, I have. It took me a second. I know I've
Yeah.
seen clips, but yes, no, I have seen it. And the I think the scene that I remember most is when one of the kids tells the story about the pie eating contest and
Mhm.
the big guy who wins it
Yep.
and gets revenge on everyone by throwing up on
Uh,
Oh, it was a great scene. But yeah, I've seen it. So okay, all right. So we're halfway through. I feel pretty good about the percentage
yeah,
of
I think we're
movies
doing pretty well. I
I've
mean,
seen. Yeah,
also just yes, most of the things you haven't seen have been really far back, which makes some sense.
yeah. All right. So in 1995, this movie called La Haine was made. It looks like it was
The
anglicized
Hate
to
or Hate.
Hate. 24 hours in the lives of 3 young men in the French suburbs the day after a violent riot.
Okay.
And again, it looks like this is going on in the 90s because that guy's spinning some records.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still
Vincent
would have been late then, but still.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with this at all.
Cell I've vaguely heard of before. I have no idea who the rest of these people are.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah.
what is this? Yeah. So no, we'll go ahead and add that number 226. And okay. 227, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. I have definitely seen
I'm kind of surprised that's as high as it is on this list. That I would have expected to be on somebody's top list, but not 227 even.
I mean,
It's
like,
a good movie. It's not amazing.
I mean, yeah, but I also I like it's also so far the only one that's made it on here, you know,
For Pirates of the Caribbean.
for Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's
So,
the
it's
other two are not amazing.
yeah. I remember seeing this. I remember seeing this in the movie theater several times.
Oh, really?
Just because, like, I mean, I like a good action adventure flick, but I really liked some of the horror elements the supernatural elements that they played up in this. And I think at the time, when you took those, you took the action adventure premise, and then you just took the performance that Johnny Depp brought to
Johnny Depp did a really good job with
Jack
this. Granted,
Sparrow. It's just like this.
what's Will Scarlett's actor?
I'm sorry.
What's Will Scarlett's actor?
Oh, Orlando.
Thank you, Orlando Bloom. Yeah,
Wow, Will Scarlett.
that should be his name. Pretty sure.
Will Scarlett is a character from Robin Hood, right?
It might be both. Feel free.
Will
Punch into it. Let's see if I
Hold
got
on.
this right or I'm completely wrong.
Yeah,
Could be
I
fun.
don't know. It's Will something. Turner, maybe?
Turner. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, Will
yes.
Turner. Okay. All right.
I got the Will part.
Yes, you
That's
did.
good.
You did.
You're right. Will Scarlett
And
is from
I
Robin Hood.
followed
That
along
movie I
enough
probably
to go
watched.
like,
Yeah.
I got the right answer, but
To be fair, they are oddly kind of similar in general tone.
yeah. Okay. The Wizard of Oz.
I hope you've seen this.
I would hope I've seen it too. Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger deep fake of this with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Somebody took the Somewhere Over the Rainbow scene and did a full Arnold Schwarzenegger deep fake of him singing it as well, with everybody with Dorothy as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Hilarious. Well, welcome to what computers are now doing. We're no longer just posting cats. I think we're going to still get more cats. It won't be as many. That's fair.
you know. All right, Wolf says that the Wizard of Oz is way too low.
I am surprised how far down it is. I would expect it to be, yes, in the mid, 170-ish era, probably.
All right. There's this movie from 2004 called The Incredibles. I don't know.
I can't imagine why this was popular.
Okay, so
Was this
movie,
a Fantastic Four?
this movie, are you kidding? This movie is the best Fantastic Four movie that's been made so far.
It's actually good.
Yeah.
Don't they still have the rights to it?
No.
They weren't doing very well with it.
I used to my mic is coming. Hold on. I don't know. It might have. Thank you for that. It could be that we got so loud it might have tried to. Oh wow. Speaker should be not the speaker. We want the mic, right? All right, it should be crisp audio. Okay. And okay, according to this, it's not. Wolf, is it still dead? Let me know because at least according to this, it says that we're fine.
That's important, yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, Mike is back. Okay, I think it must have cut out. I think you made me laugh so loud.
Burned out crisp.
I think you made me laugh so loud that maybe the mic just decided, okay, too much gain there. So
It's
I
probably
don't
with
know.
AI algorithms.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
easy to also burn them out,
So,
apparently.
okay. Thank you, Wolf, for pointing that
Mhm.
out. I appreciate it, though. All right. So yeah, no, I've definitely seen The Incredibles. Into the Wild. This sounds familiar, but I don't know. After graduating from Emory University, top student and athlete Christopher McCandless abandons his possessions, gives his entire $24,000 savings account to charity, and hitchhikes to Alaska to live in the wilderness. Oh God! Along the way, Christopher encounters a series of characters that shape his life. Is this the guy who literally he became like a literal hermit, and eventually he died because like he I don't know,
You know,
probably like malnutrition and like basically was not able to get to help or something because he was living so isolated. Is it that person? Christopher McCandless. Yeah, you're Googling him? Okay, yeah. Um I think that's you know. Oh yeah, Wolf.
yeah,
Okay, Wolf says yeah,
he
very
died
good
very
movie.
shortly after.
Yeah, but very depressing ending. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, no, okay. I didn't realize they'd made a movie about this guy.
I
Is
didn't
that Vince
realize that either.
Vaughn?
Yeah,
Is that Vince Vaughn? Yeah, that's
yeah,
Vince
that's
Vaughn.
been fun.
Okay. Wow. That is just crazy. I've seen the picture. I think I saw this guy on like a list of YouTube like deaths or something.
Mhm.
And like there's a picture of him. I think he's holding up a note and it says something to the effect of like this is probably going to be the last anyone ever sees of me, and like I think I'm dying. I don't think I'm going to make it,
Mm.
and I don't have any regrets about my life. Thank you for letting me be who I am, or something. It was something like that, and
Ugh.
wow, it
It does
was.
sound rough.
Yeah, no, it does, and I mean, if they made a movie about that, ooh, that is going to be tough to watch. Like, dang.
Get my
So,
cough
all right,
drops here real quick.
no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
plastic
so
sound with the mic. I know how that can be annoying to many people.
yeah, so hold on. I need to make
Eddie Vedder
sure.
sang in this movie. Okay, Pearl Jam.
All right.
So
So let's go. I need to put Into the Wild on there. All right, and of course it would help if I could type correctly. The Eddie Vedder song in the movie was almost more popular than the
I
movie.
can believe that.
Oh God, what song was it? What song was it? Okay.
Sure, I can look it up.
Yeah, okay, that's true. My viewers could probably find it too.
I mean,
I bet Wolf probably just knows that. So, all right. So number 231 is called My Father and My Son. It's from the year 2005.
It's probably called Guaranteed.
Okay, I don't think I've heard it.
Yeah, I really haven't.
The family of a left-wing journalist is torn apart after the military coup of Turkey in 1980. Oh
Oh,
boy.
I'm not even really familiar with that military coup, surprisingly.
This looks like a Middle Eastern. Okay, yeah, original title Babam ve Oghlam.
Mhm.
Okay. But yeah, what are we looking at genre? What drama and family? This could well, if
If
it has
it's dark,
family, if it has family, then hopefully
here's hoping. Yeah,
hopefully the journalist makes it.
I hope so.
So
Comes comes back from jail, basically.
yeah. Let's see. So my father and my son. All right. And then let's see.
Hard Sun is apparently the Eddie Vedder song.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to know.
Thank you, Wolf. Let's see. Haichi, A Dog's Tale is number
So
230.
is that the very famous Sheba that also like went after it stayed by its
I'm sorry.
master at the grave?
Haichi. Okay. I think the college professor with an abandoned dog he takes. Okay,
Huh.
maybe not.
Is this a remake of a Japanese film, no less, too? I mean,
I
it's got a lot
don't
of
know.
hallmarks that sound like it.
Maybe. It could be. I don't know.
We did so many of those in the 2000s,
So many
right?
of these pet
Ring.
movies, though.
Oh,
Like,
that too, yeah.
like, I'm gonna end up in
Speaking of which,
an
aren't there
emotional
several
wreck.
Richard Gere pet movies?
probably.
I'm pretty sure there are.
But like,
Uh,
God, those movies, I always end up an emotional wreck at the end of them because every single one of those movies, the dog or the cat dies.
well, in this case,
You know,
Parker dies, so you're okay. The guy dies.
that's probably not any better.
I don't know.
It's rated E.
That's also surprising considering that they are showing a heart attack among other things.
I mean,
Weird. I'm surprised this is as high as it is. I feel like this would be but being like seeing Beethoven is number 300.
okay, now and look, the original title on this poster is
Hachiko, yeah.
Hashiko. So
It's a very, very Japanese-ish.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, it's definitely going on the list because
Uh,
I
to
haven't.
be fair, from what Ulf MCOC is saying, it's hard to deal with pets dying, and just they're so kind to us too.
I know.
Humans can be terrible.
I know. I know. I don't.
Okay, this is the one with the statue of the dog at the train station.
Oh dear. Oh God. Oh God. I think I at least have some context. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
very sad, very
guy.
heartfelt.
I will
I don't think we're gonna get through this one easily.
just keep in mind I'm not a dog person, but I have a cat that I love very much. So like pet stories of any kind they're gonna kidney punch me at the end. So all right. Yeah, Wolf says that he can't deal with any dog dying or suffering movie.
Sure.
Too soft to deal with
I'm
it.
not sure that's necessarily softness, no less. That's humanity, empathy. That's
It's
something we want to see from people.
It's funny because lately I've been watching a bunch of reactors react to the Back to the Future movies on YouTube,
Okay.
and there's a place I'm going with this.
Sure. Yeah, I figured you were.
And when Christopher Lloyd's doc does the test run with the time machine, and he puts Einstein the dog in it, and it's really funny because everyone that is watching this is watching it for the first time, and almost every single time when the time machine disappears, the reactors are like, is the dog okay? Like that's their only concern. Like,
Okay.
is the dog all right?
Dog's important.
The dog better be okay. And
Thankfully, it comes out okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, God, I almost
The,
wish
the,
I.
the Russians dumped dogs into space plenty, so
Yeah, I almost
depends on who
wish
you
I
are.
almost wish I hadn't seen the Back to the Future movies so that I could do reactions to them because I really, I mean, I love those movies, of course, but it's just not the same.
No,
when
not
when
at
it's
all.
something you've seen. So, all right, so let's see. To
Hachi
be or not to be.
did not go into this. Yeah, this is the same. What is it?
1942, during the Nazi occupation of Poland, oh great, an acting troupe becomes embroiled in a Polish soldier's efforts to track down a
So
German.
it's Sound of Music with an acting troupe. Okay.
This sounds like it could be a comedy, though.
Yeah, Sound of Music had its moments.
Yeah, it's a comedy
Yeah. Okay.
and a romance and a war movie. So okay,
Again, so many movies are from World War II. I think it's just because it gives us a lot of push ability to do things within it.
yeah, no, so yeah, I definitely
Sounds
haven't
fun.
seen this. Yeah, no, definitely gonna add that one. Okay. Wolf, are we getting a Goodfellas reaction? I mean, it's on the list. It's one of the movies on this list that I haven't seen. Um, wait, are you laughing because does a dog die in that movie? Does a pet die in that
recall
movie?
there being a pet dying Goodfellas. It's been a long time though.
Why are you laughing as you ask that, Wolf?
How is this sinister?
What is going on here? Why did you laugh? I must know now.
Anyway,
Okay. All right. So 234 is
I
called
vaguely recall seeing some trailers for this. People talking about this kind of similar to like The Raid as being a surprisingly good foreign film. Not that foreign films are usually bad, but usually they don't always translate well. They don't always do well in America.
Okay. A woman is hired as a handmaiden to a Japanese heiress, but secretly she is involved in a
Okay,
plot
this is
to
related to
defraud
Old Boy. Fair
her.
enough.
Okay.
I probably saw it from.
I'm not familiar with this one at all, so we'll go ahead and add that. The Handmaiden. And what was that? That was 234? Yeah,
Yeah.
234. All right. So, all right. The Handmaiden. No, I'm just saying reacting to old movies. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a movie from
Why
1921.
bother
on this
reacting to new
list,
movies?
you know?
Everybody is reacting to new movies.
Yeah,
That's
true.
constant content. We've
Or
got
when
plenty of
you,
those.
yeah, like when you say old movies, are you talking about movies that I've seen? I don't know. I don't know.
Eh, no
All
trouble.
right.
Anyway,
Oh God,
so
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, one of my favorite movies.
I don't know if I've seen it.
What?
Like,
This is the classic, like, repeated day movie.
I know.
Did you see the
I'm familiar with the premise.
freaking Edge of Tomorrow and so forth as well, and not see this?
Edge of Tomorrow.
It's a Tom Cruise movie where he keeps repeating the same day, but he's in a military battle against the aliens. It's actually a pretty good movie,
No, I haven't.
but it's
seen
basically this is with aliens.
That. Okay.
See this first. This is a better movie. This is Bill Murray's.
Like this scene from this trailer is not ringing any bells.
Okay, yeah, then you would know it. This is the Ned Ryerson scene where he's
I've
trying to sell him
seen,
insurance.
Like,
my God, this is
yeah.
a fantastic movie. You know if you see this.
I definitely know.
Bill Murray keeps recurring the same day where he's having to report on Groundhog Day in the middle of nowhere in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. He's a big time news reporter from, I think it's Pittsburgh or some other bigger person. He thinks it's below him, and he's not a great guy. And as he kind of lives through the day, he starts to change his attitude and goes from there. But the problem is also he's stuck in that day forever.
Right. And
So
he's trying to break free, and he doesn't
right.
know how.
They've done some studies that theoretically was stuck for about like 10,000 years doing that same day.
Oh,
that's just he does a lot of things getting through it, and I would also have trouble and go crazy and so forth too.
Yeah, no, I get.
And it's an interesting question of what would you do with unlimited time but an inability to affect what's going on around you. Would you change yourself? Can you change yourself?
I've got you, babe, is burned into my brain.
It's the song he wakes up to every morning.
Oh God, yeah.
Sonny's and Shares, I've got you, babe. Is
the
clock just flips over and boom, it does that. Rise and shine, campers.
Hello to the Autistic Review. Nice to meet you. I hope you're having a wonderful time. We're just going through the IMDb's top 250 movies list. We're on the last 50. Actually, we're on the last 15 or so right now. So buckle up because I'm sure to drop some more jaws.
Well, offhand, I'm not sure how many of these you've seen.
Okay, so The Grapes of Wrath.
So I read this for high school. Of course, I have not seen the movie, which is amusing because usually I watch the movie instead of reading the book, but I digress.
I haven't seen this movie. However, I have been involved in a play production.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, an Oklahoma family driven off their farm by poverty and hopelessness of
right.
the Dust Bowl joins the westward migration to California, suffering
and just looking for something better. And this was Steinbeck's big thing, is that most of them are just, basically all Steinbeck books that I recall reading are always looking for a better place to go through migration, through travel. And I don't know, for me, that's been a positive thing. I've traveled a reasonable amount and found that very positive for me, but it can be, I'm less desperate about it too. I'm not uprooting my entire family and desperately trying to go across to the West and find things that work better.
Yeah, it's and it's different strokes for different folks too.
That too, yeah. You got to find what works for you. Don't overextend yourself.
The Battle of Algiers.
I assume this is another. Okay, no, this is 50s.
Fear and violence.
Assuming it's another like World War II thing going
on. Yeah, escalate. Well, this is after World War II.
Apparently, yes.
Escalates the people of Algiers fight for independence from the French government. Oh God, what? Okay, I want to do a genre check.
So I assume war,
drama, and war. Yeah, you are correct. You are correct, sir.
I'm not surprised. War is pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's inherent in the title, but
interesting, weird. Really never heard of it. Yeah.
All right, so let's see.
Battle of Algiers.
Okay, and then we have Amores Perros.
Friendly dogs?
Dog
friends?
Dog lovers?
Not sure.
Amores Perros. Okay, a horrific car accident connects 3 stories, each involving characters dealing with loss, regret, and life's harsh realities, all in the name of love. Gail Garcia Bernal, I recognize that name. I don't know anyone else
here. Yeah, sorry,
but that guy.
That's the exact point of why you do this. Is
yeah. Yeah, I've seen him in other things.
He looks familiar, but I can't place him with anything I recall seeing him, especially American movies. And this is the problem too: is just there's entire film industries we're not familiar with.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So let's see.
Sound of Music is the next.
All right, so 238.
Amores Perros.
Okay. And The Sound of Music. Okay, I've seen The Sound of Music.
Good.
I
That's
have seen
important.
The
Yeah.
Sound.
Again, referred to this earlier just because, yes, again, it's another war film, another comedy film, another thing with people with the talents and so forth. And
Right.
supposedly this is why we have the solfege scale we have as well. Is it would be different if we had not had the Sound of Music be so influential therein.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
I
it's
okay,
specifically
yeah,
fa and
it's
t
not
would not be there.
it's not the only musical on this list.
I'm not
It's
surprised.
one
Musicals
of
were very popular for a long time.
it's
And yes, of
one of
course, just
very few. I think the only other one that I remember seeing is Singing in the Rain.
huh, I would have expected more. Like 2 or 3, or sorry, 3 or 4.
So, but yeah, I've seen
Maybe
The
there
Sound of
we'll see.
Music.
What
Okay,
is Rebecca?
that is a good question that I do not
1940.
have. Wow, a self-conscious woman juggles adjusting to her new role as an aristocrat's wife and avoiding being intimidated by his first wife's spectral presence.
So
Oh,
this is an Alfred Hitchcock
it's
movie,
a
no less.
Hitchcock
Yeah.
movie.
Wow.
Okay. So
I
haven't
thought I had
of
heard of this, but I just kind of get it also
Dude,
seems such a common title. I can't offhand be like, oh,
Lord
of
of the
course.
Flies
Really?
in this.
'30s? Yeah.
I don't, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Relatively young, if I recall correctly.
Um, Supernatural. Yep. Okay. Drama, film noir. Okay. Mystery, romance, and thriller. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
7. This was what, 40? So
Yeah.
he would have been 33.
He would have been
So
33.
mid-30s.
Okay. All right.
Call that nicely.
So very, very cool. Yeah. No, haven't seen it. We'll go ahead and I'll, my Steve Rogers impersonation. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hitchcock has a lot of movies on this
Yeah,
list.
I'm not terribly surprised. He was a
Yeah.
very good director and appealed to critics a lot. So if
Yeah.
nothing else, you're getting a lot of that.
All right.
Cool and Blue is, of course, a classic Paul Newman movie where my boy can eat 50 eggs, and what we have here is failure to communicate. But I don't think you've seen this.
You would be correct. I
Yeah.
totally have not seen
This
this.
is an interesting movie. It's very classic Paul Newman, bunch of other people that you've probably seen a bunch of other things. He's he's in a chain gang and trying to both live with it and escape. It's difficult for him. He doesn't want to be, part of the standard prison fare, etc.
Right, right. I think the biggest context I have for this movie is I remember watching some kind of like social experiment that someone like televised
Okay.
where two people or two groups of people were put in a similar situation, and
Uh-huh.
uh one of the guys had just gotten, I think he had just like seen this movie and
Okay.
was trying to emulate that movie
Sure.
and
Okay. Yeah.
ended up alienating a lot of the people.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, he's not
so
the most likable character, but that's what makes an interesting film. Is
yeah.
that yeah, as a film, it's interesting. As a person, this would be very annoying.
Okay.
Panther Pension. This can't be a
Pater
Pink Panther thing.
No,
can it?
there's no N. Pater Panchal.
Oh, my apologies.
And it's from 1955. An impoverished priest, Hare Hare, dreaming of a better life for himself and his family, leaves his rural Bengal village in search of work.
Dear God, yeah,
never
and
heard of
especially
it.
for 55, when I don't recall there being such an industry in Bengali area, etc.
Yeah, no, this is totally outside
Yeah,
my
really far out there, but also great fodder for exactly understanding the film industry and other things that are formative to it.
right. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and put that there. I wouldn't be surprised if this one proves difficult to find a copy of.
I mean, I think the internet will provide us. Also, 55 might be public domain edge, so you might be able to find it
Ooh.
for that reason.
That's a good point.
So we're seeing that certainly written stories from the 50s are public domain now. I don't recall how that works for movies, but
The Iron
sans Disney, they're more available than you think. Have you not seen this? Come on.
I have not seen this.
Oh, you're missing out. This is a probably one of the best, the best animated WB movie
Okay.
from the 90s. Just very, basically Iron Giant touches down. He's like an alien thing, and this boy finds him and, keeps him in secret, kind of an ET thing, but he's kind of big and it's difficult to keep him in secret. There's a bunch of things going on. Great voice work, really amazing animation, especially for the time, right as we were just doing really good computer animation at the time.
Mhm.
So,
It's a pretty solid
star-studded cast.
Yeah. Okay. Well, nope, I have not seen it. And I've seen the Iron Giant like I think the biggest example that comes to mind is Ready Player One.
Yeah,
Um, you know,
yeah.
where a surprising amount of reactors that I saw got emotional when like the Iron Giant
For a lot of them, I think
you
it's a
know,
movie from their childhood that's a little more obscure too. It doesn't come up from other things. They haven't integrated it into theme park rides or a lot of merch or anything else.
okay.
And I think that some of that's just again that we haven't brought it back to streaming, and it was Warner Brothers, if I recall correctly. So at the time, it was obscured. If I recall correctly, their animation studios just after made Titan AE, and that flopped horribly at the box office.
Gotcha.
And so
Yeah.
that animation studios kind of died.
All right. It happened one night. This is
I've
from
heard
19.
of this.
Yeah, the phrase of the title is familiar.
Yeah, that just
It's from 1934. A renegade reporter trailing a young runaway heiress for a big story joins her on a bus heading from Florida to New York, and they end up stuck with each other when the bus leaves them behind at one of the stops. This sounds like it could be a
This sounds
comedy.
fun. I mean, this is very much the kind of odd couple thing where they're forced together and
Right.
have to deal with each other. And Clark Gable is usually a very solid actor and can be very funny with the right timing. Who's the female
Comedy.
lead?
It is Claudette
I'm not
Colbert.
familiar with her at all. Okay,
All right. But yeah,
but together for the first time, so that might be some of it too.
this might be the second movie with Clark Gable
I wouldn't
on
be.
this
Yeah, I'm not
list.
surprised. There's more than one Clark Gable from the top 100.
Well, I mean, Gone with the Wind is
Yeah.
on this list too. So,
Exactly.
but
That was the one I was going to point to, but
yeah.
there might be others.
So let's go ahead and put that down. It happened. Okay. All right. 245, 2011's The Help.
So I've heard of this. I did not watch it.
I
It
don't think I've
again
seen
is
it
more
either.
slice of life than I usually like, which is fine for some people, but not me.
An aspiring author during the civil rights movement of the 1960s decides to write a book detailing the African American maids' point of view on the white families for which they work and the hardships they go through on a daily basis. I mean, like I remember hearing about this, and as someone who was working in libraries at the time, I know that requests for the book went
Yeah,
through
this
the
was a very big
roof
book, if nothing
when
else, and
this,
then
yeah,
they understandably made a movie.
yeah. So, but yeah, no, I don't, I have not seen it. So, but it's on this list, so it's going on mine.
Yep.
So, all right, and we are down to the last five. Okay, number 246 is called The 400 Blows. It's from
Okay, in
1959.
the French movie. Okay.
Let's see. A young boy left without attention delves into a life of petty crime. That's a pretty simple,
A pretty broad possibility. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Truffaut, I've heard of him.
Okay.
I don't know how many of his films I've seen. What's the genre check? It's crime
Primarily.
and drama. Okay.
Mhm.
Crime is a very popular genre on this list.
Interesting.
It's yeah. Well, I mean, like the number one movie is The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, a lot of good films have been made about crime.
Mhm.
So, all right, 400 Blows. All right, 247 is this little film called Aladdin.
So this was the one where they were making it for like 10 years, right? And there was like a horrible animation problem. They never quite got through it. And then they got Matthew Broderick. No, wait, that's the Thief and the Cobbler. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Very similar movie.
Yes.
That was the joke.
Um,
No, this is the one that made it and did really well with it.
Yes.
Sadly, probably off the back of a lot of that, for better or for worse.
right.
And yes, it would have been great to see a proper version of the Thief and Cobbler, but we did not get that.
No.
We did get this. Robin Williams is, of course, fantastic as the genie. Cam Clark, who is Liquid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid games, if you played that, is, of course, Eris Aladdin. So
Unbelievable. Okay.
Oh, no, sorry. That's the Aladdin from the TV show. Apparently it's Scott Wagner from or the
Oh,
actual
okay,
movie.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Um,
And then Gilbert Gottfried, of course, is Iago, who's absolutely
oh
fantastic.
God, yeah, no, you don't forget that voice. So Wolf correctly says this is one of the Disney Renaissance
yeah.
movies. Yes.
This is, I think, the second one, and yes, this is very much what cements the Disney Renaissance from being just, oh, it's the Little Mermaid, and it was good. it actually solidly pushed it really well into it.
I can say for certain that this is the final movie on this list that I have not seen. Persona. A nurse is put in charge of a mute actress and finds that their personae are melding together. Is this going to be one of those films where we find out that the protagonist is also the antagonist?
I mean, maybe, but it sounds like there is a separation until the end. Still, I mean, it's very Ingmar Bergman, and yes, it looks very Lynchian too,
Drama,
as well.
thriller,
If you're familiar with David Lynch,
not offhand. I mean, I've probably seen.
If you get a chance, I really do recommend The Elephant Man. And of course, if you get the work print version of Dune. So the Dune movie by David Lynch is weird, but somebody did a good job of recutting it well and making it work. And so the work print edition actually is pretty viable. The other one is questionable at best.
Okay. Dances with Wolves. I haven't seen.
God, that's such a long damn movie.
It is. It's pretty good.
I caught this as I was in Boy Scouts, and this was one of the movies on the bus just because it fills so much damn time.
Yes.
It's an okay movie, but it is long, and it does a pretty interesting job of talking about and being a little more sensitive than we have seen about talking about like the Indian fighting in the late 19th century. That said, I mean, it's not the greatest and very white savory going on too.
Yes,
so
very white.
But I mean, it is the 90s. It was how that was working, and I don't know. I think we've gotten more sensitive since then. Yeah. It was these are stepping stones we make.
Well, I mean, like sometimes I wonder about that because we have also made movies like Avatar, which is basically Dances with Wolves in space.
Well, that again, I feel like that's because we're going just backwards to the other thing.
Yeah.
And yes, that's a fair point. The two. Yeah. Avatar is very much Dances with Wolves in space.
All right. The Life of Brian. Okay. So first of all, Monty Python and the Holy Grail is much higher on this list than The Life of Brian.
As it should be.
No.
Go ahead.
I said this at the time that I found the Holy Grail on this list. I said, okay, I understand that most people like Holy Grail better than Life of Brian. For me, Life of Brian is funnier. It's better paced. And frankly, it clicks with me a little bit more.
So I definitely think as I've gotten older, it has clicked with me much better.
Yeah.
And it is funnier. Yeah. It is not better paced. The pacing is messy at best. And that's why Holy Grail, I would say, is where it is.
I don't know.
It's Holy Grail, it's not, neither of them are amazingly well paced. They're Monty Python films. Don't get me wrong. They just took a bunch of skits and put them together weirdly. But yeah, Life of Brian does not feel like it paces well or understands when to put in the skit that it's doing.
Yeah.
That said, yeah, it's a much better satire. The People's Front of Judea People's Front thing, it always sits with me, especially when I'm talking in work about different standards and groups and other things where I'm just like, please stop. You know, we're all doing the same type of thing and you're just reorganizing it different ways. Why?
So when I remember, because I used to have this movie on DVD, and at the time I was dating a woman who was a devout Catholic. Okay. And you know, I don't have anything against religion. Okay. I do find lampooning of religion to be hilarious.
Yes.
Though, okay. And the thing is, if your faith is strong, then you're not going to be bothered by this. Okay. Like you're just
you might even enjoy it.
Yeah. But man, let me tell you, we got not even 5 minutes into the movie, and she lost it. She's like, because it starts off with the tale of the three wise men. Okay.
Yep.
And she just like immediately, no, you cannot. That is a beautiful story. And it's
a beautiful story. That's why we can make fun of it. That's why it's funny when they go to the wrong guy.
I'm like, this is a great deconstruction of
I mean, Christ, if you follow a star that far, you're going to be a little off at best. I mean, I'm surprised they weren't completely missing in the desert for like 20 years. You know, we had that problem with some other Israelites, right?
Oh man, and and I mean, like,
I know my Bible well enough to make jokes.
It's just funny because you mentioned the People's Front of Judea.
Absolutely, yeah.
For me, the scene that stands out in The Life of Brian is the scene where he's been captured by the Romans, and the Caesar is talking to him,
Mhm.
and he's got that horrible lisp,
Mm, mhm.
and so he keeps saying, "Oh, Brian," and so you find like he keeps talking, and whenever Brian tries to correct him, he gets smacked by the guards, and then he keeps on talking, and the guards start trying to not laugh
Mm.
because
So, fun fact about that too, that yes, those are extras. They were told if they laughed, they weren't going to get paid for either that or the biggest dickest scene.
well, and that's the scene,
Yeah.
and it's just funny because you can see that what is it, Michael Palin, I think,
Yes.
is just totally
Gonna go
he's
through
like,
it.
nope, I'm gonna
Just
make this guy
and
laugh.
the hell up, and rightfully so. That was a great juxtaposition.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they probably would have gotten paid anyway, but that's the whole point: is that they're using real reactions of it and just
Using real
killing them.
tension,
And it's great.
Yeah. And I mean, that just shows that Monty Python, I mean, they knew their shit.
Mhm.
They knew how to use
They
comedy.
did, and yes, I think also they know how to refine it down to the movie, and that's when they did well. Is that I like it now for something completely different. I like Meaning of Life, but they are clearly not coherent movies that put everything together into a single
Right.
all kind of tale.
Right.
And granted, they're never going to be amazing. And yes, I think that Holy Grail gets a better pacing handled, but there's
Mhm.
still, but Life Brian is also really good and has I think a better subject matter to work with for lampooning and being funny and being
Yes.
satirical.
Yes. No, I definitely agree with you there.
Yes, I can see why it's not as high on this list. That said, yeah, I'm glad it's on this list. It's good to see.
Yeah, no, but so we've gotten through the top 250s list, which is great. And now and now for something completely different.
Nice.
But what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to my channel, and we are going to we're going to work on the community posting for this. So let me go ahead and just move it over here. And let me go ahead and bring up the correct window. Okay. And let's see. What I love about this is I can just go in, grab my stream that is currently live,
Nice.
and then
I'm glad they made it more available. I know YouTube
oh,
was having trouble with this for a while.
so nice, so nice.
And of
So,
course, they're having their current problem with ad blockers and so forth. So
well,
it's important to handle your community well. YouTube should be hopefully listening to that.
one can hope.
Yes.
All right. So, but yeah, we made it. List is completed.
Nice.
All right, here are the films from this segment that I have not seen. All right, and now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go over here.
I'm good. We've been able to pull the whole list real quick.
Yeah, this is why I do that.
Fair enough.
So that I can keep track. All right. Wag the Dog will get a special mention because I haven't seen it.
It's fun. It's a very interesting and political film, and does very well with the very '90s different topics and so forth.
Okay, and then let's see. So we're going to be starting with 203 Jaws. Again, I might have seen it, but it would have been so long ago and I would have been
Sure.
so young. So, all right, 205 Mary or Max.
Which again still looks a very interesting claymation film. I'll have to check it out myself.
Yeah. 206 is the Ford versus Ferrari.
Yep, that was fun. Wasn't amazing.
All right. And then 207, the Seventh Seal.
They
That
playing
was
chess.
the chess. Okay, yeah, the playing chess against the Grim Reaper, right?
Yep, that's correct.
All right. 208 was Room.
So Brie Larson keeping her, I think it's son in single room for a very long time.
Mhm. All right, The Big Lebowski, which again, I know I've seen scenes from this movie. I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
Fair enough.
All right, probably one of the big
I
surprises
still
of the
can't
night
believe you haven't seen
is
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. I have not seen Ratatouille.
It's worth a watch. I don't think it's amazing.
Okay, Tokyo Story, which I believe was about grandparents who
That's right. Yeah, that looked like a
being
slice of
born.
life thing, but interesting enough, and certainly early too. Surprisingly,
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of looked depressing based on the premise,
a little bit. Yeah.
Let's see.
So,
Next is Hotel Rwanda.
so Don Cheadle's earlier film,
Yeah.
certainly a very politically important point about African history, as it were.
All right, and then 215 was Spotlight. That was the Catholic Church one,
Right, yeah,
right?
from the Boston Globe.
All right. And I can hear a needy cat
Yes.
meowing at the door, so I'm gonna let her in. Hold on. Over here. She's like, yeah, okay. All right, whatever.
It's okay. I'm used to that with cats these days.
Okay, so the next one is The Passion of Joan of Arc.
Yeah. Seemed like another historical drama, but yeah, all right, good for them and making it work.
Okay, let's see. 220 was Before Sunrise. I believe that was like the
Did you get
sequel.
Jai Bim?
Ooh, did I miss one? Oh, thank
You did,
you.
yeah.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate the extra set of eyes. I don't remember what Jai Bim was.
Again, very early Bollywood looking thing with a young Bengali person.
Okay, all right. 221 is Rush.
That was the Chris Hemsworth,
Yes.
again, F1 racing.
Uh,
Looked interesting, yeah.
Network is that? What was Network?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, right. It was the broadcast news one where they got the not Joe Rogan that they're trying to bring in.
Oh, right.
Kind of
Okay.
off the handle and is doing questionable things and they don't know how to handle it. I assume
Uh,
that's it. But that's what the summary gave me. I didn't get it all.
The best year of
I
our
don't remember
lives.
this one.
That one I think was from the 40s, and I don't remember much.
Okay.
220.
Oh, unfortunately, again, don't remember this one terribly well. Exactly why we have this list, though. Again, another French film, but not the one about the one with the kid in crime. Apparently, Into the Wild is the
Oh God,
Christopher is it McCandless and going into it's into the wild, really.
yeah. All right, let's see. 231. My Father and My Son. I think that was about the reporter that was.
The Turkish thing, yeah,
Yeah.
the Turkish coup in the 80s.
All right.
232 is Richard Gere in Weird Dog Thing,
And a
which again I
frickin'
doubt that was a white person when
pet
they did it.
movie that's
Yeah.
probably going to, punch me in the kidney. All right. To Be or Not to Be. I don't either. Yeah. Again, like lots and lots.
And that's
of
why we have these lists
you
too, is
know?
that it gets you familiar with these things that otherwise wouldn't be there.
Right. All right.
So The Handmaiden, again, I heard about this from the old boy stuff. Supposedly it was similar related to it. So pretty good for that. Groundhog Day, of course, is
Probably
Bill Murray's.
another big surprise.
I am very surprised you haven't seen Groundhog Day. It is a classic movie of the 90s and also just, time travel, weird kind of sci-fi mix in.
Mhm.
Not quite sci-fi, but just, it's there. It does that.
I mean, it's got a sci-fi good
A little bit. Grapes of Wrath, of course, again. Read the book, did not actually see this movie.
All right.
Battle of Algiers, which Algiers Freedom. Now we're coming up on things that are more recent, so I remember them.
Right. Okay, next one is Amores
That's the
Perros.
3 people in the car accident one. Rebecca's the Hitchcock one with the dealing with the ex-wife and her marrying
So
the
many Hitchcock movies.
Again, I can't say I'm terribly surprised. Hitchcock was fantastic. He was, the Sondheim of his time for movies, and he's just very good.
But man, like,
Well, he was also very prolific too. I guess is the other point is that he put out a lot of stuff. And Luke, we're just talking about being on a chain gang and not doing well with it. My boy can eat 50 eggs, all that good stuff. Arthur Pachali, maybe this is the Bengali one. I forget. Let's see. Happened one night. Clark Gable and the. Oh, sorry, we're up. Yep, you're on 240. Iron Giant, good. 243 happened one night. That 244 happened one night.
Right. Let's see.
245, The Help. Oh, it happens.
Okay. 46 is the 400 blows. Again.
That's the one with the French kid in crime.
Yes. All right.
And then I think we're done there. We have, sorry, what we have? Persona, okay.
All right. So
check some of these out. This does sound interesting.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and do a count here. Out of 50, I have not seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Wow.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34.
Oof, that's a bit more than a majority there.
That's better than yesterday, though.
Okay, interesting.
Yesterday from like
Out of frame here.
151 to 200, I hadn't seen 38 of those.
Wow.
Yeah. So
all right, well, this is exactly what we have lists those, so we can go through them and check them out.
all right.
Might have to get back together and compare notes too and see how these go.
Yeah.
Well, these
So
do sound fun.
let's see. So I'll go ahead and make that post. And there we go, guys. So feel free to check that out. And as always, feel free to just kind of suggest any other movies that you think I should watch. We've gotten through the top 250s, but we're actually not done. What we're going to start doing in subsequent streams when we revisit this topic is I'm actually going to go to the IMDb's breakdown by genres, and it'll be a list of 50. So it'll be like the top 50 horror, the top 50 sci-fi, the top 50, drama, crime, stuff like that. So, at this point, what I might end up doing is putting out a poll and basically saying, hey, which genre should we do next? And then you guys can vote on it. So
interesting to see what people say. Yeah.
Yeah. So stick around. I will. I'll make a post in the next day or two. And be sure to vote, and we'll see what we end up doing. So I want to thank my friend Xander for
Thanks.
being
glad to be here. It was fun.
And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and call the stream for the night. Thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate it. Take care. This is Spidey Librarian. And until my next stream or upload, I'll be wishing you a good day. Bye.